Notre Dame, Florida State, Ole Miss, and even Texas will not make the college football playoff this year. And I'm going to tell you why. 10 games this college football season that will absolutely throw the 12-team playoff out of whack. Lance Taylor, Lance'sLock.com, where you get all the plays, $100 a month. That is it. We've got special football pricing right now. Go to Lance'sLock.com, scroll down. You'll see the NFL preseason. We've also sent open email out to a lot of our former subscribers out there. But jump on board, win with us as we roll into fall number 11. We also have YouTube channel now, win at Lance'sLock.com. But let's get into it. These games are going to cost certain programs a spot in the 12-team playoff. We start first, August 31st. It gets real early. Week 1, number 7, Notre Dame heading to College Station to take on number 20, Texas A&M and Kyle Field. You know, this atmosphere is going to be incredible. Mike Elko's first game as the A&M head coach, former A&M defensive coordinator, former Notre Dame defensive coordinator, and now he is facing his former quarterback. I go back last year. Duke was undefeated. They were hosting Notre Dame. They had Notre Dame on the ropes. They were up. It was 4th and long. Notre Dame ends up scoring a touchdown. Riley Leonard's got to come back on the field for Duke. He gets hurt. Season unravels. But in that game, Mike Elko's defense against that Notre Dame offense, Notre Dame was 2 of 15 on 3rd down. Mike Elko will have something dialed up for his former quarterback, and I think this Texas A&M team is going to be sneaky good. You couple that with the fact that Notre Dame has already lost their starting left tackle. They're replacing a right tackle. The secondary is thin right now. Love Texas A&M in this spot. They're minus 2.5 right now. I expect that number to get bumped up. But I think that loss, I don't think Notre Dame is going to be able to go 9-3 and get into this college football playoff. They've still got games after that with Louisville. They've got games with Florida State. And then obviously Notre Dame goes to USC to end the season. If Texas A&M wins this game, they can be favored in their next 10 games when you really start to dissect their schedule before they host Texas rivalry weekend in College Station. Next game we're going to look at, we jump ahead to week 5, September 28th, Oklahoma State at Kansas State. I know what you're saying. How are either one of those teams in the college football playoff mix? Well, there's an automatic bid in the Big 12. And I also believe the Big 12 is going to be better than advertised. Oklahoma State has won 4 of their last 5 against Kansas State. Avery Johnson, complete stud at quarterback. He is going to electrify the Big 12 this year. Kansas State already listed offshore books right now as a 5.5-point favorite. I fully expect Kansas State to take care of Oklahoma State. And with some other landmines on Oklahoma State's schedule, there's no way 3 losses will get them into the Big 12 championship game, which means they are out of the playoff picture. Also, September 28th, week 5, we know a group 5's got to get in. More than likely a 12 seed, playing that 5 seed. A lot of people look at Liberty, and they believe the Flames with this schedule right now in CUSA, they can navigate that, go undefeated 12-0, and maybe be the highest-ranked group 5 team and ultimately get into a 12-team playoff. Your problem is week 5, Liberty goes out of conference in the Sun Belt, taking on Appalachian State. This Appalachian State team, by the way, most of the production returns. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Winningest college football program over the last decade to not make a college football playoff? It's Appalachian State. 95 wins. I'm not saying Appalachian State is going to be your group 5 team that gets in this year, but Sean Clark going into year 5 has done a really good job with this program. Joey Aguilar is a big physical quarterback at 6'2", 230 pounds. He can run it, 3,700 passing yards last year, 33 touchdowns. Appalachian State is going to be a tough out, and you don't just roll into Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina. The atmosphere will be fantastic. Liberty takes a loss there. 1 loss is all it takes. They're out. We stick week 5. By the way, you can circle this. September 28th is going to be a pivotal week, in my opinion, looking ahead to the college football playoff. Florida State rolling in, taking on SMU in Dallas. Florida State right now, I haven't seen an official number offshore. I would list them at 7.5. And look at the way Preston Stone played down the stretch last year for Rhett Lashley. I think SMU is going to be a better than advertised team. 11 wins last year. Now they go to the ACC. So they're not going to get the respect they deserve. I don't think the moment's going to be too big for SMU. Right now, according to StubHub, 3rd highest ticket on September 28th. And by the way, there's a slew of good games, is right there in Dallas. $173 get in to see the Mustangs host Florida State. The only more expensive tickets right now Oklahoma heading to Jordan-Hare to take on Auburn, and Georgia heading to Bryant-Denny to take on Alabama. But week 5, I am calling the upset right now. SMU knocks off Florida State. Week 7, October 12th, Penn State and USC. I've already seen Penn State as a 4.5-point favorite in offshore books. Typically, James Franklin doesn't lose games he shouldn't. He just doesn't win games that he can't, or doesn't win games that he should. I'm getting tongue-tied here. He can't beat top-tier teams. Top 10 teams, the record is awful, well-documented with James Franklin. USC is not going to be a top 10 team. But I think USC is going to be one of these teams in year 3 under Lincoln Riley with Miller Moss now at quarterback. Defense is going to be improved. Deanna Lynn will get it going in at least the right direction. They can't get any worse. I think USC will be a team, though, that will lose to a team they shouldn't, maybe a Rutgers, and they're going to beat a team they shouldn't beat, like Penn State. Right now, again, Penn State 4.5-point favorites. I just get this feeling in the Coliseum. USC takes care of business. Penn State, with that loss, will find 2 more losses, 9-3. They're on the outside looking at. October 12th, one of the great rivalries out there, the Red River Shootout. They have moved it from 11 a.m. Central to 2:30 kickoff. Can't wait for that. Texas right now a 7.5-point favorite. If you really start to break this down, and we've talked about this a lot, both teams coming into the conference, Texas seems like the alpha. Oklahoma is the team that dominated the Big 12. And really, they've dominated Texas. They've won 4 of their last 5 against Texas, and including last year's 34-30 win. Dillon Gabriel, an incredible drive there at the end. Oklahoma will not be scared of this Texas team. Oklahoma's got a brutal schedule, but I still think Oklahoma is going to win some games against some top 10s. And I've got Oklahoma knocking off Texas. And ultimately, with that Texas schedule, it's not nearly as difficult as Oklahoma's, but I think they find 2 more losses, 9-3. We'll get to another one for Texas that will ultimately keep them out. Week 9, October 26th, the Sunflower Showdown. I know this doesn't seem like a marquee matchup to most, but if you've been watching the Big 12 the last couple of years, Lance Leipold, Chris Kleiman, where they've got these programs, this should be an outstanding game going into it. Right now, second most expensive ticket, according to StubHub, $178 for a get-in to Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Avery Johnson is going to be fantastic for Kansas State, but I think the better quarterback this day is going to be Jalen Daniels. I think Kansas State has a really good regular season. This loss is what could cripple them and keep them out of the college football playoff. 15 straight Wildcat wins in this series. I think Kansas flips it. Kansas was up 11 late in the second half last year. They blow the game. Devastating loss, but I think Kansas bounces back, and they snap that 15-game losing streak. Week 10, November 2nd, Ole Miss at Arkansas. Before you say it, I don't think Sam Pittman's going to be the head coach in this game. But for whatever reason, Arkansas has given Ole Miss troubles of late. Look at Sam Pittman's first 4 years. They're 2-2 against Ole Miss, and they've actually outscored the Rebels 146-127. Right now, Ole Miss is a 7-point favorite. If you know Lane Kiffin, you know that he will lose a game he's supposed to win, and this is it in Fayetteville. And I think with the beneficial schedule, they will still find 2 other losses. Ole Miss ends up 9-3, missing the college football playoff. Sticking in the SEC, Oklahoma at Missouri, week 11, November the 9th. You remember the old Tiger Sooner peace pipe. It's back. That's the rivalry. I really didn't remember it. Big 12 days. They haven't played since 2011, and Oklahoma has absolutely owned this rivalry. 20-2, the last 22 against Mizzou. I think Mizzou is going to be really good this year. I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were with the 11 wins last year. Luther Burden III, you can make an argument, best player in all of football. Jackson Arnold, by this moment in week 11, he is going to be outstanding, in my opinion. And I think he's going to go into Columbia, where we know the home field advantage isn't that good. Right now, Missouri 3.5-point favorites. Oklahoma knocks off Missouri, and I think ultimately Missouri loses 3 games. That's the one you can circle. Oklahoma is probably like a 7-5 team, but 2 or 3 of those 7 wins are probably going to be against top 15 teams. That's how difficult the schedule is. And finally, we end this 10 games this college football season that will throw the 12-team playoff out of whack. We started in College Station. We end in College Station. Rivalry weekend, week 14, November 30th. Texas A&M, the game everybody has been waiting on. First matchup since 2011. Right now, offshore books have Texas as a 3.5-point favorite. I think this number comes down a little bit. I think it goes off at close to a pick. I think A&M is going to be that good this year. And I think with all of the hype around this game, with nobody in College Station selling their tickets, It's going to be a frenetic atmosphere, and I think A&M knocks off Texas. Texas comes into the game at 9-2. I've been saying this for a while. The pressure is too much. They dropped their third game of the season, and they're out of the college football playoff. Look, to get great picks this entire year, jump on board with us at lanceslock.com. Again, sports packages, everything you get for $100 a month. We do have daily packages coming up. We've got a special football package, new website, lanceslock.com. And remember, where you're getting this content right now, win at lanceslock.com. Please like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends. We would really appreciate that. Going into fall number 11, we're here to win for you at lanceslock.com.